You know, I revel in any opportunity to break off from what's normal, to be the outsider, to walk my own path. And I think this full moon in Leo is really about this. Not about me, about all of us, about many of us who might feel constricted, who might feel like there can't be in that sort of structure and place or do life the way it used to be. You realize that it doesn't work. And I think a lot of times when we hit these spaces, it's where we feel uncomfortable. When you can't believe what was working before and what was normal all of a sudden makes you feel like you need to do something, like ditch it or smash it or break off from it. Yeah, full moon in Leo that happens here on February 12th at 5:53 a.m. Pacific, but it's really a Uranus story in the end. And this story has to do with being the rebel, has to do from breaking off something or from something or smashing something. You know, sometimes people don't like chaos, but if you look out there, it seems to be chaotic at the highest levels, right? You might as well be the wielder of the chaos in your own life. And what I mean by that is, it's a controlled chaos. It's a chaos that's directed by you. It's a chaos that is eccentric and electric. Something that gets you off, right? Something that jump starts your world. And this full moon with Uranus in Taurus squaring the sun and the moon here is huge in this regard. And I think it's an underlying lunation this year. Yes, do we have eclipses coming up in the next month and these other certain astrological aspects? But this one's coming in to sneak its way in here. And to me, it's actually connected to last summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere. I'll pull up a couple charts here and I'll show you, okay? So here is the chart for the full moon on February 12th. You could see here the moon at 24 degrees Leo. Here is the sun at 24 Aquarius. And here you see Uranus in Taurus, newly moving forward out of a backwards phase it's been for months and about to propel itself all the way through Taurus and into Gemini in July. This Uranus and Taurus story won't be finalized then. We'll go back to this place here later in the year. But at this point, we see that Uranus here is squaring, as they call 90-degree relationship to sun and moon. So there is an electric, rebellious, extreme undertone to all of this, and it depends on how you see it and how it's playing out in your world. I, on this channel, always will try to explain things in a way where you could take it in and use it and not feel at mercy to things, because I think and believe in choice. I believe that we can choose to react to situations. We can't control all situations, but we can choose how we react, how we use them. And I think when it comes to astrology, when it comes to one-on-one consultations I do with people, I try to remind people of this. And not only that, I try to mirror back to people to see if they can find and wield it themselves. I just happen to be a mirror, just like this video, right? So check it. You're looking at this here, and we have all this. We have something sneaky in all this, and I love it. And it has to do with Mercury here too, because basically here, Wednesday Pacific time at February 12th, early in the morning, this is going to happen. But several days before, Mercury goes through the sun and goes through a major moment here where it's rebirth in Aquarius. It goes into the heart of the sun and does a death and rebirth metaphorical process. And these are when fabulous insights come into play. Now, it's interesting that we build up towards a full moon several days later, and the planet, a planet that deals with insights in a different kind of way, not the Aquarius type of way, but in a different kind of way, Uranus, the outsider, the rebel planet, its goal is to whatever it's hitting and relating to in astrology or in someone's chart is to uproot and to liberate in the end. But this could be shocking for many people or bring up shocking themes where things are unpredictable. And some people, many people need habit and ritual. That's something that's dependable. We all need it. But at some point, if certain things do not work in certain facets of life, Uranus comes in and plays this game, and it doesn't just do it one day. It's kind of an underlying story that will sometimes happen in people's charts for at least a year and a half. And I think this is what's happening here. So basically, you have this rebellious planet Uranus. Now, if I go to another chart here, I will show you, I'm going to go 3 here. I'm actually going to go to August 4th of last year, 2024. I want to show you something. This was the new moon in Leo. So this is 6 months ago. You know, we're about to have the full moon in Leo this week, but 6 months ago, there was a new moon, a seeded moment. And we always look at things in chapters here, at least on this channel, and we could see the new moon happen at 12 degrees Leo. Venus was at the very end of Leo here. And I'm looking to see what aspects we've had here. And not Uranus wasn't per se involved in this story, but it was hanging around. But a really big thing was Mars and Jupiter together. A lot of the same themes that are kind of coming up now these days. You could see Saturn at 18 degrees retrograde, Neptune and Pisces. These planets are in play even now. So, and even little Pluto there at 0 degrees. Now, saying that, we have that chart. Now, 2 weeks later, after this August 4th of 2024, we had the full moon that actually happened in Aquarius here. You see 27-degree moon in Aquarius, right? And you see Mercury and the sun were together here during this, just like this week's full moon in Leo, where Mercury and Aquarius in the sun are together. And not only that, you see here that Uranus here at 27 degrees was squaring this full moon. And so, saying that, there is a massive connection that deals with August of last year and how things have come to fruition in the Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus parts of your chart. This is a trifold basically story. And again, I will point out this full moon here that happens 24. There's Leo, there's Aquarius, there's the Taurus part. Here's where the action is. Now, my feelings on another level with all this. Risk take. Find your weaponry. And what I mean by that is the weaponry is creative. You've been watching my Instagram stories. You saw what I was doing on the road the last so many weeks, how I'm saying don't give up hope. And I challenge you to creative endeavors, even at what seems to be the worst of times for politically out there or economically for people. And a lot of you are on edge. But this is what being human's all about, is recognizing when to yield your weaponry or to build your weaponry. And I'm talking about the weaponry of compassion and love. But sometimes it has to be tough and it has to be strong. And sometimes you have to break off. Sometimes you have to revel in the opportunity as an outcast. Sometimes you have to say fuck it to everything. And it might be even a community of friends, family, certain people that understand you. It could be permanent or temporary. It could be something cultural. It could be something that before you depended on. Something you have identified with. Your identity was part of that. But there are times when you must smash it all. When you must sever those situations, change those situations. And in my case, it's about breaking things down like a lightning bolt coming out of the sky and smashing it into pieces, taking some of those pieces and bringing it forward and leaving some of those pieces behind. In the end, I love the rebel attitude and I love being the outcast. And if you can be comfortable with being the outcast in your own life, whatever facets of your life, you go look at the Leo, Aquarius, especially the Taurus parts of your chart, you'll get hints of this. You know that something has to move and change. But if you revel and stand strong and let that overtake you, the outcast mentality, the outcast way of living, then you're not in the habit anymore. You have an open road and you could do whatever the hell you want. Now, it sounds easy the way I'm saying it. It's difficult when you make changes like this, or changes come out of the blue to rock your world, and you have to deal. You have to deal every day with how to move through something like that. Sometimes the situations are really easy. I would have felt like, finally it changed. Finally, I made the decision. And other times you have overlapping stories where you have to manage other people, other narratives, while you take the steps to liberation. But on a real tip here, I think most of you watching understand what's happening in the world. You see what's going down. And I don't think there's any other way but to rebel, and for you to be at the driver's seat of becoming an outcast. And if it's already happened where you have maybe been pushed out externally by situations where you found yourself alone as the outcast, I think you should celebrate it, actually. I think you should take it all in and drink it all down and wear that costume and be that character and then take it to another level. The interesting thing about the Leo Aquarius story is they actually have these two different ways of being true to themselves. Right? And that's what they actually have in common. The Leo full moon is going to express itself. Leo needs to express itself through an ego-based way, a fire-based way as a sign, and needs to show its individuality in the world with its will, the core sun shining bright in whatever expressive form. That is the part of the fire sign story. Aquarius needs to separate and create its autonomy. Right? And it's using a higher mind ideal. And it has to do with everything of like walking a solo path that's autonomous and true to themselves. They just do it differently, Leo and Aquarius. But there's times where they work together, when the opposite polarity signs find the connection. And I think here with Uranus squaring these planets, it's like this powerful electrical conduit that is separating what needs to go and keeping what needs to move forward. And it's that deviant move there's that break off something that can become exciting in one part of one's life or one's whole life. Again, these times are difficult, and you see what's happening. It's only getting crazier. Listen, there's a bunch of other YouTubers out there that have made their astrology YouTubers that made their bread and butter on fear, on talking about being free speech, or their ways of deviating from the government and all this stuff. So they got that thing going, and they made a lot of money and a lot of followers during COVID, using politics in a certain way to make their bankroll, and at the same time create endless comment sections on their social media thing. And everyone feels like it's something new. But I'll take a stand here. I'll take my way of doing this. I have nothing at stake here with making this video. I have to run my life and my practice and have clients and do that. But you know me here enough. Those who do. And those who are new, I don't need fear. I don't need some messed up algorithmic manipulative way to get more followers to do this thing. That's where I stand apart. That's the choice I make, because I know autonomously in my world, I choose my code. I live by my ethics. My ethics are love and compassion, truth, honor, loyalty, and love. That's how I roll. So, for me, I choose that route. What route do you choose? And if you noticed that you got caught up in certain ways of doing things, and it was all algorithmic, that you were playing a game in your world because you needed the cash, or you needed the quick fix, or you needed the quick something, and because everyone else is doing it. What I'm saying is, fuck everybody else. What I'm saying is, you and you alone know the branching off and the chaotic nature that you truly are, and you need to harness that, is my suggestion to you, and break through to another space, to the other side, and revel in being an outcast. And it all starts with trusting yourself. It all starts with trusting that little something that's in you, and then now it feels confined, now it feels trapped, and it's just like, you know what, out of any time, and you're going to use astrology, and you're going to use your rituals and stuff, you use a lunation like this one that was similar to 6 months ago, so there ain't no new story here, but you use one here, and you might as well break off, you might as well separate, and you might as well just don't conform to it. Whether it's the social media streams you're so used to doing that kind of put you off kilter and mess with your mood, it's something in your life with your job, with just recognizing your talents and you're not getting paid the way you should, you're going to have to find something new and find a way. This full moon is all about this. I encourage you, if you're stuck in certain situations, you can make the break-off move, I understand. But when you come home from that job you don't like or whatever, you still need to keep, or you still need it because you have to take care of your family, whatever your life predicament is, make the space in your life to be the rebel. Make the space in your life that's nonconformist and is an outcast. Come up with another name for yourself, another piece of clothing, something symbolically on your altar. Make something that has the juice of something that's moving forward into the unknown. And when everyone at some point does something like this, you're being true to yourselves, and you'll find other people down the line who are doing the same thing, but just in a different way. And the common thing that you'll have is that you're outcasts and that you're creative. And when you put those two things together, that's where the world moves forward. It's not necessarily someone sitting in a lab or some tech bro who did ayahuasca and did a bunch of things but still use it to climb up the ladder. Nah, we see what that is. We see the product of what they've done to our cities and to our communities. You see what some of these big billionaires and stuff, they're fucking scared in the end. They might think they're ahead of the game or the outcasts, but they're not. That's what they crave. They do all these things trying to separate themselves to be the cool people, but in the end, they're not. They can never replicate, never take what you have, which is your autonomy, your freedom, and that rebel in you. So that's my video. It might be weird. Last couple weeks I was in different environments, but something happened to me while I was gone, and while I'm back here, I recommitted to myself. I recommitted, and I'm recommitting now in front of you to all the Aquarius in my chart, everything, that I'm doubling and tripling down on it all, that I'm all about something new and a different kind of revolution. So let the lightning bolts hit where they may, and you might as well take one in your hand and wield it yourself and get used to it, because down the line, we're going to need more of you being like this, being true to yourself, being true to your creativity, and trusting yourself 100% of the way. I believe in you. I believe in you. Okay? So I hope you dug this interesting concept I came up with. I don't think it's just a concept. It was on the plane ride. And then when I came down and saw certain parts of society and certain things, I'm like, no. I'm not going to do this anymore. I ain't going to get caught up with it. And if I run into my pals and certain people, I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to poke them a little bit. I'm like, I see you're pissed off. I see you're this and that. I see you're unhappy. You're sending me articles on the internet. You see what they're doing here, and they're trying to take this and say, I totally see it. I've been seeing it for the last 30 years of my life. This ain't no surprise. So my retort is, well, what are you going to do about it? And then they come back at me, well, what are you doing about it? I go, I'm going on my channel. I'm going to talk about freedom and about embracing chaos, embracing being the outcast. Fuck, we could do this together, you and I. Remember how we used to create and take chances on stage or on street corners with music and art or anything that we came up to be free, to be improvisational in life? That's what this channel is all about, and more is coming this way. So on this celebratory full moon in Leo, with Uranus right in the middle of it, with a clean, beautiful Mercury in Aquarius bringing messages from the future to now. It's another chapter in our release from the shackles. All right? Until next time, I'll see you on the next video.